So my wife and I have very different needs in terms of a church space. So she's become a worship associate, and I delved into the small group ministries of chalice circles and support teams and such. The queer community, yep. One of my favorite paddling songs starts with "This pretty planet, spinning through space. You're a garden, you're a harbor, you're a holy place." I first sang this song while guiding groups of young people paddling on Lake Superior, leaning into the relaxing meditation of the lullaby, while also paddling in time to the song to keep us moving forward. In that situation, we would come in to our wilderness base at the end of a week to replenish our body, to pack new gear and pack new food, repair any gear. The base was our harbor. I fell into a rhythm of having weekend harbor anchoring me as I go out into the week, journeying for these week-long adventure trips. I no longer live in the wilderness base, I live in the Twin Cities, but still I have that same rhythm of going out into the world, my work, my neighborhood, and coming back on weekends to a harbor to replenish and to be impelled courageously forward. That harbor is Unity Church-Unitarian now. There was one night, kind of early in the pandemic, where a seemingly sporadic instance of violence happened to a neighboring house. Their front house windows were crashed, and the car windows were smashed open as well. Neighbors around us rallied in fear and anger to push the inhabitants of this house out of our neighborhood, out of our block, away from us, out of fear that this violence would come into the rest of our houses. This is not an isolated incident with this house. There's a string of these that happen. My wife and I heard our neighbors, we listened to them, and yet we said no. It is not okay to push these inhabitants out of our neighborhood. First, we must see that they are people, and perhaps they don't have significant support systems. It is true that they do not have big connections with the rest of the neighborhood. It happened that weekend, the Sunday service reinforced our desire to build connections with the inhabitants of the house that was affected by violence. And later that day, I had Chalice Circle, and I received a lot of encouragement and support and to keep standing firm. So we did. The song, This Pretty Planet, posits the whole world as a harbor. And for me, it's hard to conceptualize the entire world as both the spot in which we get replenishment and repair, and also the space in which we journey. For me, I need a smaller location to come to for replenishment and new tools before journeying out into the rest of the world. And that space is Unity Church-Unitarian. I get sustenance from the relationships I've built there, but I'm also impelled towards a version of me that is better so that we can build a better beloved community. For example, the racial equity series that's happening on Tuesdays right now, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. To have the connections with team dynamics, it's like, cool. I just have to show up and do the work that they're telling me to do. I don't have to figure out how to learn how to find the resources necessary to do that growth. Like, they have this framework already figured out. I don't have to do that. I just have to follow through with the framework they're presenting. My wife and I know that Unity Church-Unitarian's work requires a lot of resources, and so we give annually through the pledge. Will you join us? This pretty planet, spinning through space. You're a garden, you're a harbor, you're a holy place.